It's time for bookkeeping, beer, and BS. So we had that maid service business in Minneapolis that I was like boots on the ground. I was everybody's backup. We got up to a couple $100,000 of recurring revenue. And meanwhile, I think we had 6-7 other businesses. Like we bought another one in Tampa. I think we had just sold the one in Portland. Cincinnati, 2 businesses in Cincinnati, Cleveland, St. Louis, Minneapolis. The admin business was its own separate entity, but we weren't doing external work. But that was like about the time we started getting into external work. It was around like 2018 when we sold that business, which like created this whole nother element to our lives, which was like, oh, now I'm talking to business owners all the time, and I'm doing it from the office, and I'm running the window cleaning business. Did you feel, Marty, a difference after we sold that business? Or because I was like starting another one right after it, was it just like, it's just more of the same? Like you're still waking up at 4 or 5 a.m. to like solve all the problems, and then you're working once the kids go to bed and...
Yeah.
Okay. At what point did you start to notice my world like coming to grips, or whatever you'd call it?
When you stopped having to get up at 4:30 to check for skips.
Hmm.
Then you became...
with home cleaning, we'd always try to wake up early.
And when you found Janelle.
Thank God for Janelle.
Janelle, if you're out there.
Janelle and Bryn.
Yes. When you found them, you got some of your life back.
Yeah. In home cleaning, we would always like, and I would usually be the one to do it, would get up super early to check for any calls or emails that had come in from the night before about which customers were skipping for whatever reason, or you know, whatever the case was. And that was just always super stressful because it was always problem solving, like the first thing of the day. So you
at
just woke up
4:30 in the morning because you had to do it before the cleaners hit the road.
And I had to do it for the East Coast.
Yeah.
So I was always having to do it. Most of that was actually while we were at your parents' house right after we had a baby.
Yes.
As eventually we got that, like had people on the East Coast helping with that on Eastern time. But I felt like when I started shifting to working with more business owners, my life got a little less chaotic. Still worked a shit ton because we had all these other businesses. But actually, I think the most impactful thing I remember was merging with Andy.
Yes. Andy, you too.
Because I like it. We all have this like selfish and arrogant perspective of like, I'm the entrepreneur. I'm the best one to do this thing. I
can do it all.
Right. And I was, it like when I came into small business, I was like, I got all these experiences. I got all these chops. Right. And so we just try to be like the bull in the china shop and just keep pushing and just keep pushing. And it takes us a while to come to grips with like, there's just people that are way better at stuff than we are. And it took me a while to realize like, but I'm the one that's just way better at finance stuff than most everybody else. And that's like, not trying to brag, but I just like spent 7 years studying this stuff. So God, I hope I learned something that can add some value. And I did it for all of our businesses. And so it was this weird, like, oh, I need to find other business partners to help run our businesses. That's a win for them, where they can make more money. They have cooler responsibilities. They can make, you know, a greater impact rather than me try to do 12 things at once.
Yep.
Because that was just what I was doing. It's like, I'm running all these businesses and I suck at all of them. I mean, I work my ass off to be okay at all of them, but there's just no way I can give them enough attention.
Yeah.
And so I got way better at delegating stuff. And I remember having that conversation with Andy, like over the course of a couple of years, like trying to figure out a way to do it. And I remember sitting at a table with him in Arizona and I was like, crazy idea. Like, let's just paint this picture and see if it happens. And by like, that was in like late January. And by March, we're doing this thing. And March 8th, I think we signed our operating agreement to move forward. And thank God for that, because I don't think I would have been able to grow a badass bookkeeping business, and I wouldn't be able to be here talking to you guys if I didn't find somebody like Andy to work with to pursue that opportunity. It's just so important to like find the right people to run the right things.
Yep.
And I'm the right person to run a bookkeeping business, and I have a hell of a lot of fun doing it. And I think I could be great at running a window cleaning business, but not while I'm running 12 other businesses. And I don't like climbing around on roofs, and I don't like hanging off the side of a building. And Andy does. so I think it's just a better fit. But it's such a weird reflection, because our like hubris and our arrogance says like we got to be the one to do it all.
But that's actually a sign of good leadership, is somebody who can get other people to perform at their best and to surround themselves with the best talent. I think that, I mean, that's humbling for all of us, right? I was conducting interviews at work this week, and it's like, it's easy to not want to pick the smartest, the best, because you're like, oh, you know, they're smarter than me. Well, like that's exactly who I want on my team. Is the people that can do the job better than I can. You know, that's what's going to make our team do great.
That's actually one thing that I really appreciate from Andy, is watching him lead that team. And I can help Andy, and you could say I'm like helping lead Andy, but Andy's a way better leader of that team than I was. And that's super cool to see. And like, hopefully I had some influence on how he does it, but I think he's just actually like really good at that. And so it's I'm learning from him on how he leads that operation and just how he looks at it and stuff like that. So super cool. And that, like, we both get beat up. He's had a tough year for a multitude of reasons. And so I can help pick him up. And likewise, like, I get the shit kicked out of me every once in a while too. And then he can help pick me up. Right. And so I feel like now it's a business partnership is like a marriage, right? Like you're you're
married to a lot of people.
I'm married to a lot of people. You too.
Aww.
But like they're equally messy to get out of if you like made a shitty decision. And so I think having a great marriage and having a great business partnership, you appreciate the hell out of it, because you also, we all know people that have had bad ones in both cases. And when you have a good one, it's like, holy shit, this thing just works. And like, it ain't perfect. And you're trying to always like figure things out and communicate and help each other. But man, when you like have somebody that can like fill in the holes and fill in the gaps for where you suck, and like
vice versa,
you jive.
Yep.
Man, that's good stuff. So thanks, Andy. Thanks for our marriage, Andy. Appreciate it.